ourselves up, and we don't give ourselves a break for not being perfect at something that we're new at. We've got to start somewhere, though, so we've got to have the courage to screw something up a lot before we get good at it. You'll never get good if you don't suck for a while. In 2002, I lived in Tucson, Arizona. I was a professional animal trainer. I trained birds of prey, and I wanted something to practice on at home. Now, my husband at the time was not crazy about liver treats, so he suggested we get a dog, which I was pretty happy with. I went to the Humane Society and I looked around, and most of the dogs were barking, they seemed aggressive, or they were shaky and shy. I was looking for a confident, sweet tail wagger who I could take to Home Depot, to PetSmart, take hiking, and anywhere else she was allowed to be. None of those dogs were going to fit the bill. Then I turned the corner, and at the cage at the end sat a shepherd mix with blonde hair and a black snout and black eyeliner. And she looked at me, her soulful brown eyes full of sadness behind the bars of the cage. I looked at her and I said, "Hi." And her tail slowly started, slowly at first, but as I got closer, it sped up. And by the time I got to the edge of the cage, her butt was wiggling and it lifted her from the seating position as she greeted me at the cage with her tongue reaching through the bars. "That's her," I said. And 2 hours later, old Cricket came home with us. Either she was brilliant or she'd lived with people who had spent some time with her and training her because she knew all her perfect obedience. Isn't she pretty? She was perfectly house trained, she was quiet, and she was a delight to be around. She would run around the yard and then come in and collapse on the couch and just sleep all evening, and we loved her. Now, I'd seen dog agility competitions on TV, where the dogs go over the jumps and through the tunnels and all of that stuff. Well, I thought it would be fun to try because Cricket was athletic and she was smart and I was an animal trainer, so it should be easy, right? So I found a great agility club right there in Tucson, and the training club had classes for all levels of dogs, so I signed her up for the beginner class. She had all the prerequisites of basic obedience required to start, so a week later we showed up for the first day of class. We were a disaster. Cricket ran all over the place. She was chasing other dogs who were also all over the place. She ran right through the jumps. She wouldn't lay down on the table, and usually down was really easy for her. And she wouldn't even go near the tunnel. She looked into the dark tunnel, and then she looked at me as if to say, "Nope." She turned away and ran to go after the cute boy poodle that she'd seen when she came in. So we got home and both collapsed, exhausted. "Well, that sucked," I told her as I sighed on the couch next to me. "Did you have fun?" She didn't look at me. All I knew was that I didn't. I felt like the worst dog mom in the world, not to mention worst animal trainer. So a week later, it was time to leave for agility class, and I looked at Cricket and her smiling with her happy eyes. I said, "Do you want to do this again?" She wagged her tail. Of course, she had no idea what I was talking about. All she knew was that I was talking to her and I had the car keys in my hands. I really didn't want to go. "We suck at this, Cricket. Maybe we should just stick to obedience classes." And I stood there and she kept staring at me, wagging, waiting for my next move. "All right, dog," I said, ready to bargain. "If you lay down when I say, we'll go. If you don't lay down, though, we're going to bang it." And she stared at me, wagging. "Cricket, down." And I laid my flat out in front of her and she hit the deck. Damn it! I grabbed my purse. "All right, let's go." So that night, she did a little better. She still wouldn't touch the tunnel, but she stayed with me. She left Bruno, the sexy poodle, alone. She did pee all over the seesaw, but to be fair, Princess Fifi von Sparkles, the useless chihuahua in the pink tutu, I wish I were making that up, had peed on the seesaw a minute ago. I wouldn't have let her own anything in there either. In fact, I almost peed on it, so I understood. The next week, she was a little better still, but it still just felt like crap. The advanced class was right before our class, so we got to see them blazing through the course, working together with military precision and generally just being amazing. I looked down at my little desert mutt. "Cricket, I don't think we're ever going to do that." So at the end of the 6-week beginner session, I still felt completely dejected. The trainer came up to us after class and bent down eye to eye with my dog, patting her on her head. "Well, Cricket, are we going to see you next week for intermediate class?" She smiled and wagged. That's all she ever did. "I don't know, Shelley," I said. "We're kind of a disaster. It seems like kind of a waste of money." "Disaster," Shelley said. "Cricket has come so far." She stood up to face me. "She could really be good. She's smart, she's quick, she's athletic, and she loves this. You two don't have a partnership yet, but it's gonna come fast. You just have to stick through it and suck for a little while. It'll be worth it. And at the very least, she'll get to hang out with her boyfriend, Bruno." And we laughed, and I left, and we drove home. Cricket dozed in the back seat. I thought about it. I mean, she really did love it. And she was always exhausted after, which is great. I had even noticed improved obedience at home since we started the class. But it was so embarrassing during every single class. I would cue late, or I'd turn the wrong way, or yell the wrong word. Cricket was smart. If I could just get my shit together, she would have the clear message and actually do the right thing. I suck at this. And then I thought about more than me. Shelley had been right. Cricket had so much fun. And that's really what it was about. If she never sped through a course or never even competed, I'd be fine. She was getting exercise. It was a mental challenge. And that was what it was about. It wasn't about me. If I never got it, never did it right, that didn't really matter. She loved it, whether I sucked or not. So I got home and I took my ego and I stuffed it in the closet and signed her up for the intermediate class. And we got better. And we got better. Slowly. I thought of quitting a lot. It was so demoralizing, but I kept reminding myself of the point. This is about Cricket. And finally, we were ready for competition, and finally, we got the blue ribbon for the novice dogs. We were a success, and it felt great. So often, I thought of quitting, and this is what we do. And we're not immediately good at something, we want to quit. It feels terrible to be new at stuff and not be good. But you're never going to get good unless you suffer through the awkward beginning. Don't compare yourself to anyone else. Use them as your aspiration, but remember the hours that they've already put in. At one point, they would probably suck as much as you did. Remember your why and keep sucking, because eventually you'll turn around and realize that you don't suck anymore. And that's worth every second. So put your ego away and earn it. It's worth it.